Hey yo, what up? What up? It's Lamech with Selah Sports TV back at you with another one, a quick one. Um, we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room, which is this huge fucking fight. I love this fight and I hate the fight. Which fight am I talking about? David Benavidez and Dimitrius Andrade, right? Um, I love the fight and I hate the fight. I love the fight for obvious reasons. It's a great fight. It's a 50-50 fight. It's a clash of styles. Aesthetically, we should get everything we're looking for in this particular fight. It's a shame that Al Heyman chose to marinate all these fights, right? I get it. Andrade's just now coming over, but even with the Caleb Plant and Benavidez, like that's a fight that Al Heyman could have delivered on a long time ago. But he chose to marinate all the good fights and make us wait, and everybody ain't Pacquiao and Mayweather, so that tactic was pretty fucking stupid. I don't understand Al Heyman's business practices. Now, full disclosure, as if it's necessary, he got a lot more money than me. So, hey, whatever. I guess he knew what he was doing, but to me, it don't seem like it because he's out here looking for another network, to swindle. He's out here dangling Floyd Mayweather in front of another network, trying to get over on that. So, whatever with that. But as for this fight, man, it's giving everything we pretty much want. It's a great fight. It's probably the best fight that you can ask for at this point in time. It is just aesthetically and as far as the levels. Neither one of these guys are taking a loss. It's a good fight. Now let's talk about the actual fight. I'll start with David Benavidez. He's the younger fighter, right? But first, before I do that, let me just break down something real quick because everybody's got these lists. I feel like it's too many lists out here. I feel like there's way too many lists out here, right? It's not the fact that people have lists, it's the fact that people have these lists and they're putting them out, like promoting them like this list should be your list. Like this is the definitive list. Ain't no fuck out of here. That's your list. It's personal. Right? It's personal. That's fine. It's fine for you to have your personal list. I got mine. So I'm not taking the human element out of it. I got my list and let's talk about it. As far as my list, I got a list of favorite fighters. I got fighters that I like to watch fight because I enjoy their fighting style. And that's all it's based on. It ain't based on how much money they make. It ain't based on how many followers they got. It ain't based off of what race they are. It ain't based off of none of that. It's based off of I enjoy watching this guy fight. Period. Right? Because of his style. His style is entertaining. That's it. Call me crazy, but that's it for me. And then I got a list of pound for pound where I'm like, all right, this person has achieved a lot. This person, they've done this and that in their career. And it's not so much about whether I like watching him, right? It's not so much whether I enjoy his fighting style or his tactics or anything. It's about what he's able to accomplish in the ring. The people he's beaten in the ring, like Canelo. Like, I'm not a Canelo fan, right? But I'd be remiss if I didn't put him on my pound for pound list. You know what I mean? There's other guys on there too, But no, Lomachenko ain't on my pound for pound list. But anyway, yeah, so that's how I look at it. And that's why these two guys are like two of my favorites. They're on my favorite fighters list. Not necessarily on my pound for pound list yet. If the winner of this fight would go a long way to getting there, but you still gotta become a champion. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I felt the need to break that down. Now, as far as the fight, Benavidez is the bigger guy. It's true he doesn't really use his size as much. He really likes to get mid-range to inside and bang off on the inside. That's his thing, throwing a lot of punches, right, in the mid-range. He's not really... He has a good jab, though. He has a great jab. He just doesn't use it consistently. It's not something he goes to a lot. And frankly, I don't think this will be the fight that he can do that either. As we know, Andrade is a southpaw, right? And I just think this won't be the fight that Benavidez wins off his jab. I don't see it coming. I think Andrade will see that jab coming, and it'll give him too many opportunities to counter, right? But what Benavidez does have is a decided size advantage. If he can get inside and do work to Andrade, to the body, and slow him down, slow his feet down, because that's Andrade's thing. It's not so much he's a pure boxer. He's not a pure boxer at all, but he does use a lot of movement. Andrade is the only guy with that style. Like, his style can't really be defined in class, not in the classic sense. Like, he's not a pure boxer. He's not your classic boxer puncher, and he's not your classic pressure guy, right? He's all of that shit. He throws a lot of funky punches from funky ass angles, right? He does. He can hit you from anywhere, and he can be hard to hit. He can also be easy to hit. He's not a defense first guy. I've seen Andrade put his chin on the line. A lot. Sometimes his feet are all over the place, but he just has very good body control. He's a trick bag. He's a trick fucking bag. Very tough. There's no sparring partner that's gonna get you ready, not really, to fight a Dimitrius-Andrade. Period. But David Benavidez is a pressure fighter. That's what he is. I mean, he's your classic pressure fighter. And he, like I said, he wants to get inside. He throws a lot of hooks, lots of uppercuts, and he doesn't throw that many straight punches. He wants to bang. He wants to bang mid-range to inside. And the other thing about Benavidez, he has a great gas tank, right? He will be fresh going into the late rounds, unless you do something to change that, right? Unless you do something to change that. And therein lies the dilemma for Dimitrius-Andrade. So let's talk about Andrade a little bit. Andrade he's coming into this fight as the smaller guy. He's going to come into most of these fights at 168 on the smaller side. He's not a big 168. I mean, he's not tiny, right, by any stretch of the imagination, but like he's not going to come in to these fights like being too much bigger than any of these guys. Remember, he came up from 154. So, Andrade, like I said before, he is a southpaw. He has a foot speed advantage. As far as hand speed, that's gonna be close, because for a big guy, David Benavidez, that's one of his superpowers, right? That's one of his superpowers. Not sure if Andrade will have the hand speed advantage, but he's got decent hand speed too. He's got some decent hand speed, especially early in fights. He likes to start fast. These guys are kind of like a yin and yang. You got one guy that starts fast and kind of drifts later on in the fight, and you got another guy that kind of starts slow and picks up steam later on in the fight. In that regard, I would probably give David Benavidez a slight advantage, because it's better to close out, fight strong, than to start early and fade, right? Just with everything with the judges and everything, it's just better to put that image in their mind. The last thing they saw is you winning the last few rounds. So I would probably give Benavidez the advantage there. But here's the thing with that. If Andrade gets off to a fast start and he's able to get Benavidez down somehow, right? If he's able to drop, both these guys have been dropped before, so it's not like, I'm not talking crazy. If he's able to get Benavidez dropped, or get him hurt, or dominate the early rounds and force Benavidez to have to chase him down in the late rounds, that could possibly work to his advantage, right? Once a guy has to come and chase you, that opens him up defensively. That opens him up that much more defensively, right? It could also work against him. Like, you could come out and start hot and lose steam and tire out late in the fight. I think the fact that he's up at 168 now should help him a little bit with that. Like, he's not draining himself in any way. Like, he should be able to eat whatever he wants, for the most part. It shouldn't have been a rough camp as far as making weight. Benavidez, not so much. He's on the not bigger side. He's huge for 168. The guy is huge for 168, and it ain't no doubt in my mind he's draining himself to make 168. Ain't a doubt in my mind. Benavidez is much bigger than Dimitrius Bivol, and Bivol fights at 175. You feel me? So, like, sometimes you stick around and wait too long. Sometimes that does happen. I'm not going to hold you. I'm going to get right to it. As far as my prediction, you ready? No, as far as my prediction, I just think it's going to be a little bit too much slickness from Dimitrius-Andrade. I think he'll be a little too slick, a little too evasive for Benavidez. I don't think he's fought anybody like that. Don't talk to me about Caleb Plant. They don't fight anything the same. They have no similarities. Caleb Plant has no similarities to Dimitrius-Andrade. None. Caleb Plant is your classic pure boxer, right? Moving around and jabbing. And, like, that ain't Andrade. Andrade will hit you with an uppercut from a mile away. He'll put his chin on the line, and you can catch him. If your timing is like that, I'm not sure if Benavidez has that timing in his bag like that. His thing is pressure, overwhelming you, throwing his weight on you, overwhelming you with shots. I just think Andrade will be a little too slick. I think he will come out fast in those early rounds, and I think he'll have a little bit more left in the later rounds than I think Benavidez will get hot, right? He will get hot, and he will make the fight very interesting later, right? Will it be enough? It's hard for me to pick against Andrade in this fight. In this fight, it's hard for me to pick against Andrade because it seemed like he's built for a fight like this. His style is built for a fight like this. I'm not sure if Benavidez's style is built for a fight like this. Now, Benavidez against Canelo, I think Benavidez dominates that fight, honestly. Andrade against Canelo, I think it's a closer fight. I think Canelo, that could be a great fight. I give Canelo more of a chance to beat Andrade than I would Benavidez, right? But it's not about that. It's about styles making fights. They got to fight each other. I think Andrade's style matches up with Benavidez. Needs you to kind of be there. He needs you to be easier to hit, Caleb Plant, I never saw him as all that slick. Just because you're moving around and jabbing, that don't make you slick. It doesn't make you slick at all, right? So it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more to it than that, right? So I pick Andrade to win this fight. Now, when I say that, that just means I pick him to win. That don't mean he's gonna get the decision, right? This is a PBC card. We know how they do. If the fight's close in any way, I think David Benavidez will get the nod, right? I think if it's like up in the air between the judges, if it's really like that, I don't see them giving it to Andrade. I don't. But we'll see. Now here's my dilemma. Here's my fucking dilemma. Because I want Canelo to fight the winner of this fight. I absolutely want Canelo to take the winner of this fight. I think if Benavidez wins, Canelo would more likely take that fight. Why? Because the public outcry will be greater, right? If Andrade wins this fight, I don't think the public outcry will be as great, and it won't put as much pressure on Canelo to fight him. I think it'd be easier for Canelo to duck Andrade than it would Benavidez, and I hate to fucking say that. I hate to say that, but hey, man, we'll see. We'll see. Very, very tricky stuff. We can't discount the politics involved, right? I look forward to seeing it. And yeah, that's my pick, and I'm sticking to it, man. You know? But if Benavidez were to come out blazing and do something amazing, hey, that's why we gotta watch the fight. I'm gonna give him all props, and vice versa. If Andrade comes out and it's like he basically backs up that's the other thing. Andrade's a top-ranked fighter, right? We know that. I mean, historically, the trend is these guys make PBC fighters look silly in the ring. That could happen. That could happen. And if it does, it just does. Like, we got to adjust all our little lists and be okay with it. Anyway, that's all I got, man. If you like the video, shit, from about 5 feet away, start throwing that uppercut to the like button. Hit that like button with the uppercut. Peace.